So welcome to yet another Adrenalin Shot, a short, sharp injection of interesting information. And today I have Simon Waller with me. Welcome, Simon.
Hey, Dawn. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've been admiring the room that you're sitting in there.
Thank you very much. This is my little studio where I work from in my garden in Mount Eliza. We have the NBN connected, and I do all my mentoring, sit on this couch.
Looks fabulous. I'm sure that I'd be very at home in a place like that, especially if it's out in the garden. It's one of my my pastimes, I suppose, is vegetable gardening.
I tell people I work very hard at not working hard.
Well, that sounds good. And I know you're going to talk to us a whole lot more about that today. So let me introduce you. And then, as you know, you've got 5 minutes. So I'll stop after the introduction and put the clock on, and hopefully we'll see how we go from there. All right. So Simon Waller today is the author of 2 books, The Digital Champion, Connecting the Dots Between People, Work and Technology, and I can't even pronounce it again, Analogosaurus.
That's it.
Thank you. Avoiding extinction in a world of digital business. Now, you can probably tell I had to read that because that was a really long one. So, Simon's also an international speaker and founder of the Digital Champions Club, which I'm sure we're going to hear a bit more about today. And he describes himself as a technology expert who's obsessed with helping people leverage technology to avoid doing the work they hate. And I love the sound of that. And Simon already tells me that he's got a challenge because he says he would normally struggle just to say his name in 5 minutes. So this is going to be a very interesting interview, isn't it, Simon?
It's going to be fantastic. Yes.
All right. So let me find my clock here and start that and pop it up. And at the same time, just because I need to make sure we know what we're doing, I'm going to start it on my phone at the same time. So it's an interesting obsession, Simon. Tell me more about it.
Okay, so I think one of the things we forget is that technology isn't created by mistake. So technology is invented and developed by people with an expectation that they're going to get a return on their investment. And so the things that we're willing to pay for are things that we either find hard or that we don't like doing, the things that frustrate us. And so when we see this increasing rate of technology change at the moment, it just means there's so many more opportunities out there for us to reduce that low value work out of our lives. But I kind of feel that a lot of organizations don't have the resources or aren't actually take the time to actively look for them.
Okay, so what kind of time-saving things are we talking about here? You know, how would an organization even know what to look for?
Yeah, so on a very simple level, it could be as simple as a paper-based form that we fill out and then fax to someone or email to someone who then prints out that document and then takes that information and types it all back up again. Why not just type it up, online form in the first place and save somebody the 15 minutes that just got wasted doing it? Nobody likes that job. Nobody likes taking the time to rewrite the information that's already been written. Nobody likes having to phone up the person to find out that they didn't fill out the information correctly. And yet there's hundreds, thousands, millions of these opportunities in every business.
So what about the way organizations are currently addressing technology-driven change? What are some of the problems there?
I think one of the challenges is that the number of opportunities is growing exponentially. Yet, if you look at resourcing around IT and technology in most organizations, it's pretty stagnant. And so we actually have opportunity outpacing the resources we have to access them. And so we're then being forced to choose which ones we should pursue. And it seems logical that we should pursue the opportunities that have the biggest return. I call these like the Rhino projects, but the ones with the biggest return often also have the biggest risk and take the most amount of time and are most likely to fail. And what we're actually neglecting is the small projects that have a reasonable return but very little effort involved because we don't have the resources to pursue them. And yet these are the ones that actually come with very low risk. And so in a sense, they have the same return on effort, but we're pursuing the big things instead of doing the little things. And they're the ones I think that most organizations could get very quick wins and easy value out of. Okay.
Can you give us a couple of examples? I mean, okay, you spoke about the one before about your...
Sure. So another great one would be expense reports. If you go into a room executive and say, who likes doing their credit card report, form report? No one likes it. There's apps out there now where you can just take photographs of your expenses. You can chuck the expense in the bid. It will automatically allocate it to your expense report. Timesheet management could be another simple one. Other projects that some of our digital champions have been working on at the moment include things like how to manage technology requests or how to keep track of people traveling overseas. So these little projects, but it could also be with emerging technology, things like one company that's a landscaping company now looking at using a drone to do surveys of land. So rather than pay a surveyor to go out there and painstakingly walk around the property, put up little markers and measure distances and compile a report, you can just send up a drone that could compile that same information in 15 minutes. So throughout our work, there are these little opportunities.
Yeah. And you mentioned the word digital champions. So who are they? What do they do?
I look at digital champions as being this untapped resource that most organizations have. So this growth in technology opportunity and what they call like the technology we now have at home is often better than we have at work. We have incredibly tech savvy people. We often think they're the millennials in our business, but they could come from anywhere. This is a resource of people that are incredibly savvy, have great knowledge and skill, and yet at the moment they have no input at all into the technology systems they get to use. And we could be tapping those people, I describe them as the digital champions, to actually being able to deliver some of these small rabbit-sized projects that are currently being missed.
Rabbit-sized. Now that's an interesting term.
Yeah.
What makes you call it that?
I kind of call the rhinos and the rabbits. So the rhinos are the big projects that look good from afar, but ultimately turn out to be far from good. And the rabbit-sized projects, which are the small things where, you know, you get a meal out of each one. They're not going to feed everybody, but there's so many of them and they seem to be breeding like rabbits. So that's where I think there's an untapped opportunity in most organizations to improve the use of technology. And as I said, in doing so, help avoid the frustration and some of the work that we actually really just don't like doing.
Oh, I totally agree with you. You know, there's so many people these days, and our 5 minutes is just about up here, Simon, who, it'll make a noise, that's all right. And I'm going to turn the one off on my phone so it doesn't interrupt us because that was 1 second to go. But you're right, there's so many people who have great technology at home, they're interested in technology at home, and they don't have any outlet, I suppose, for that in the workplace, do they? They
don't. And it's actually causing a real problem. There was some research by MIT and Capgemini just this year that said that for those they're often high performers who have these expectations around technology. If we don't give them and meet their needs, they're actually twice as likely to leave our organization. And it's almost regardless of where level, like this could actually even be at an executive level, at a director level, even at that level, if we don't give people the right tools, they're twice as likely to leave our organization. So I think increasingly people are feeling very frustrated with this divide between what they have at home and how much they're trusted as well at home. Yeah. But at home, you get trusted to make your own decisions, your own purchasing decisions, your own security decisions. You set up your own Wi-Fi networks, and you suddenly walk into the workplace, and you've got no ability to say anything or do anything at all about your technology.
Yeah, that's a common theme of mine around that whole empowerment thing. You know, people make massive decisions every day of their lives about their own lives. Why is it when they walk through the workplace door that we sort of think, well, they're not capable of making those decisions anymore? And it's ridiculous.
Completely. And so we unfortunately now though, we have actually trained people to not have an opinion and not have any say. And so it'll be very difficult for us to open up the floodgates and just go, do whatever you want. Though when you go to organizations like Google, that's exactly what they say. Exactly. They basically say you can have any technology you want. It's our responsibility to make it work for you so that you can be as effective as possible. If that means you want a Microsoft device or an Apple device, or you want to use that software or this, you can have anything you want. So we can't go from where we are now to that. But if we can give people some support and some structure around, you know, finding these opportunities that are frustrating people and turn some of those systems on, we end up with a more effective workplace. We deliver value-adding projects, and we actually also work to lift the digital savvy of the rest of the organisation as well.
Lovely. And see, I'll let you slide a little bit over your 5 minutes there.
Yeah, you're very generous. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm so generous. It's Christmas. What can I say? So thank you so much for coming on the program. I really enjoyed talking to you. And I'm sure that there's actually another interview in there somewhere where you could perhaps share with us what's coming next. And, you know, what I suppose software businesses could actually have a look at. So can I have you back on the program again another time?
I would love to be back. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So thank you for today, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Dawn.
Bye.